John, how are you? Let me come give you a hug. You all right? Talk to us a little bit about why you're here today. I want to hear. Go ahead.
Well, I've been here almost every year for the last 20 or so, and it really makes a difference when you hear the Declaration read out loud. You understand the mentality of the colonists at that time, and also the frustration they felt and the power that they had when they decided to declare their independence. So it's one thing to read it in a textbook. It's another thing to hear it.
Absolutely, and to see it. Thank you, John. Congressman John Yarmuth, you guys. Amazing man. Amazing group that has come down already this morning. There is the colonel, the pastor, the running for Congress, the mighty dynamo. Everybody's okay. It's quiet for just a second, so I'll tell you. I hope you could hear what Yarmuth had to say. But Together We Will is putting on this rally at the courthouse. There's Mike O'Connell up there on the steps. A lot of people responding to the passage of the bill, a narrow passage of the bill that is going to take away a whole lot of things that you may not even realize. Hospitals are already slated. You heard Morgan McGarvey talking about all the hospitals that are going to close as a result of the bill that passed. Good morning. How you doing? You all right?
Sometime or other, will you send me your email?
Email? I don't use email a lot, but yeah.
Or whatever.
I'm on Facebook, so you just look me up on Facebook, Tara Bassett. Hit me up with a message.
I know, but okay.
Yeah, there's so much crap that comes into email. I don't use it a whole lot. Yeah. So thank you. I appreciate you. So we've got, a small but mighty group here so far, talking about hear the words that, created your independence and be with the people who are ready to fight for it. If you are, join the crowd. Let's see if I can find Pamela. She just came down the steps and then I got distracted like a dog with a shiny ball. She's talking to John Yarmuth. That's pretty funny.
This land is yours.
Hi, Shannon. Come on, give me a hug. How you doing? I'm good. How you doing? Islands, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
There's more for this morning. I kept on walking past the big old White House. I saw a man in some long tight.
I don't like to walk up on people having private conversations. But she'll finish. She'll finish. What are you doing, Colonel Pastor? Colonel Pastor Pam? I love you. Good to see you.
Like you were on my mind.
Tell us why you're here today.
This is why I'm here today. Keep your hands off of my democracy. People died for the country we have today, not so people could be rich and billionaires and do the things they do. If you are really Christian, like you say you are, do what Jesus tells you to do. Take care of the least of these, the widows, the children, the hungry, the poor, and not your pocketbook.
Animals.
And animals. That's exactly how we got started. You can tell how a country treats its animals. You can tell how they treat their people.
You're absolutely
So,
right. Good luck.
thank you. Good luck. Well, I'm glad
You always text me when I most need it. Thank you. I love you. Are we going to get a picture? You got to get a picture of us with the. Well, that's why we're here rallying today, because it is hard to celebrate our independence when our independence is being taken away. That's exactly right, Ann. I appreciate that thought. Look at this. Look at this. Wait a minute. Look at this. Look at this beautiful woman. Tell us why you're running.
I am running for the U.S. Senate to replace Mitch McConnell because they are shredding the promise of America. They are doing everything but what they need to do. And if we, and I mean you, if all of us don't stand up now, as you can tell, it won't be anything left to protect.
And that's why everybody's here this morning, too. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Okay. What? I swapped it just because of the noise so she could hear me. Yeah. Yeah. I'll change the camera view so she can hear me.
Are you going to take away the mirror reflection so stuff reads right?
Exactly.
I'm used to it.
Exactly.
I'm used to it.
Shannon Farber, ladies and gentlemen, who is the attorney who brought the same-sex marriage case from Kentucky with 6 stalwart couples to the Supreme Court, which guaranteed the right to marry. Same-sex marriage was a thing that never was imagined to be able to be passed, and now it's going to be threatened again after all these years. So many married couples have made all of their lives, their children, their homes, their belongings safe by the actual covenant that they signed legally, and now that is also one of the very definite targets of our current administration. So folks are gathering up on the steps. I'm going to go up on the steps for just a second and show you what we got down below.
Troubles doubled up, so we doubled down. right here, right now.
People are rolling up slowly, but they're rolling up. I know a lot of people had family things planned today, but in light of what has happened, a group decided to read the words that formed our nation and talk to people about what is needed to defend it. So on this July 4th morning, they are gathering.
Good morning. Welcome. Happy Independence Day, y'all. Happy Independence Day. My name is Roz Welch, and I'm the Vice Chair of the Louisville Democratic Party, and we thank you for coming out for our annual reading of the Declaration of Independence. 1776 was a little bit ago, and some things have changed since the Declaration was established. But the main purposes of declaring our independence against no kings and no tyranny still stands today. So I am going to turn it over to the congressman from Kentucky, who has been standing alone on behalf of Kentucky, but standing strong with the Democrats in Washington, D.C., standing up against tyrants and making sure that all Kentuckians have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Congressman Morgan McGarvey.
Thank you, Roz, and good morning, everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. I see especially we got another one of our warriors down there. Former Congressman John Yarmuth is here with us today. Fourth of July. What a wonderful celebration. Today, I think it's important to review why. 249 years ago, 5 people were tasked with declaring our independence. Robert Livingston, Roger Sherman, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and of course Thomas Jefferson. Like most group projects, one man did all the work. And Thomas Jefferson went to the second story of a bricklayer's apartment in Philadelphia and knew what he was writing was of particular importance. What we were doing was more than declaring our independence. What we were doing was more than giving the announcement of a new country. We were proclaiming an idea, a radical idea at the time, that government should be of, by, and for the people. That everyone should have an equal shot at success because everyone is created equally. We knew this document was more than a place. We knew it was an aspiration. We knew it was an experiment. 249 years ago, we put those ideas on paper and we put the world on notice of a new type of government. Over the years, the American experiment became the American dream, where all of us have a shot at success. And even though we have never fully lived up to that dream, we have never let go of it. Our North Stars have continued to be that everyone has a shot at success in America. And that we are always headed towards that more perfect union. But as Benjamin Franklin said when writing the Constitution, and someone asked, what type of government have you given us? He says, a republic, if you can keep it. It was David Obey who said, democracy does not guarantee a happy ending. And so as we stand here 249 years later, it is important to renew the commitment to those ideas and those ideals. Because we have someone in Washington who I don't think has read the words we're going to today, who I don't think understands what America is all about. It doesn't always have to be pretty. We don't always have to agree. In fact, my favorite painting in the rotunda in the Capitol is the one of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Not because of the words or the momentous occasion we're going to celebrate today, but because the artist went to great lengths to show Thomas Jefferson quite literally standing on John Adams' toes under the table. We haven't always agreed on everything, but we have agreed on those ideas of the American dream that have made us great. Those ideas do not include dictators. Those ideas do not include kings. Those ideas do not include excluding people from the American dream. The American experiment was one that gave us a government of, by, and for the people so that we could serve the people, not take away their health care, not take away their energy, not take away the things that make America great. But it's on each of us. Because, as you will see in what we're about to read and what we have witnessed the last 249 years, which have given rise to the greatest country on earth, we have a democracy, and we can keep it. The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitled them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impelled them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute a new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed.
But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present king of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states.
To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them.
He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people will relinquish the right of representation. in the legislature a right only to them and vulnerable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with firmness his invasions on the rights of the people.
He has refused for a long time, after such dissolutions, to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise. The state remaining, in the meantime, exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose, obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of lands. Onward!
He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of the officers and the amount and payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat their substance. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislatures.
He has affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us, for protecting them by mock trial from punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent.
For depriving us, in many cases, of the benefits of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses, for abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighboring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government, and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute rule into these colonies, for taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally, for suspending our own legislatures and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever.
He has, abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coast, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny, already begun with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy, scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages, and totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation.
He has constrained our fellow citizens taken captive on the high seas to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has excited domestic insurrections amongst us and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers. The merciless Indian savages, whose known rule of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions.
In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Nor have we been wanting in attentions to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our immigration and settlement here.
We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity, and we have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and of consanguinity. We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace, friends. We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare
that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the states of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract allegiances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Thank you all for attending. Let's give another applause for our speakers. This is just a reminder, the fight doesn't stop now. It doesn't stop here. There's work to do. This is our time to stand up against tyranny. So I encourage you all, get involved in your local civic organizations, get involved with the Louisville Democratic Party. It's time for us to stand up. It's time for us to do more. It's time for us to take our country back. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Hold on one second. We've got more for you about action you can take going forward. My name is Betsy Foster. I am the leader, or one of the leaders of Together We Will Louisville, the Kentucky Political Network, and the Women's Political Council here in Louisville, former board member of the Kentucky Democratic Party. I will always be a Democrat. Thank you so much for coming.
Happy
And why are we here today doing this rally in addition to the Declaration of Independence? I've seen a lot of people say they can't celebrate the 4th now. They can't stand looking at our flag anymore. I completely understand the emotion behind that, but the Declaration of Independence was written to create the country that we believed in and that we have to fight for again. So I am going to ask you today, as our speakers come forward, what are you going to do over the next 2 years? We can't change the bill, but we can make sure we have people get out to vote and change at least Congress, flip Congress so that we may be able to rescind some things. So there are people much more qualified than me to talk about that, and I'm going to introduce our first speaker, who you've already heard, Congressman Morgan McGarvey.
This sucks. Right? It absolutely sucks. What they did is going to hurt people. This is not policy on a paper. This is people's lives. The bill they just passed is going to kick 133,000 rural Kentuckians off of their health care, more than any other state. 35 rural hospitals in Kentucky are going to close, more than any other state. You know what that means. You don't have to imagine it. Every single one of us had a kid get hurt, had a parent have a heart attack, have a stroke, or go into premature labor. When minutes matter, people will not be able to get the health care they need. $10 billion in Medicaid reimbursement lost to the state of Kentucky, more than any other state. Right now, we get more money in our state government. Gerald Neil and Stevenson, they can tell you this. We get more money in federal Medicaid dollars every year than the entirety of the Kentucky state budget. When they take it away, when they kick people off their health insurance, people will die. But it impacts all of us. Every single one of us. So you're out there right now and say, "You're not talking to me. I will not let you die in the driveway of a hospital." So they're still going to get care. But they're going to get care when they're their sickest, when it costs more. And guess what? Rates for every single person are going to go up. The cruelty of this bill has yet to be felt. But we can stop it. And so when you think about this, when you know this sucks, when you know this is going to hurt people, that this is the difference between life and death, that this is what they have been marching toward, recognize this is the exact moment when we cannot give up. When we have to stand up, to rise up, to recruit, to train, to mobilize, to organize, to get out there, to make sure that we keep our country as it is today, a free, democratic place where every single American has a shot at life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And by God, if we work together, we can do it. Thank you guys for being here.
Let's give it up for our amazing Congressman Morgan McGarvey. So you just heard about what this is doing for the impacts on the entire country. Let's bring it home to Louisville a little bit as well. Here in Louisville, that bill that just passed out of Congress yesterday is likely to kick 30,000 people off of Medicaid. 20,000 families in Louisville are likely to lose their SNAP benefits. This is real. As Congressman McGarvey said, it sucks. It sucks for those families. It's bad for all of us in our city. We care about those families. We care about our friends, our families, our loved ones, our neighbors. And so when things in Washington don't go the way that we would like, I want to challenge everyone here today and everyone around the city to not give up. Let's keep going, because we can do what cities have always done.
we can make sure that our city continues to lead. Here in Louisville, we can make sure that our local government, we can fight in Frankfurt, our state government, we can work with nonprofits to make sure that kids do not go hungry in Louisville, that we can support organizations like Dare to Care that are doing great work so that no one is left without help. We can continue to fight to make sure that every 3 and 4-year-old child gets access to high quality early childhood education so that when they go into the classroom, they are ready to lead. We can fight for more affordable housing in every city, in every community in our city, not just in certain parts of our city. We can continue the positive momentum that we're seeing right now with the last week, this great new jobs. 800 jobs are being created at GE Appliances. We can and we must do more so that more good-paying union jobs are created in our city of Louisville. So friends, I know yesterday was not a good day for the country, for our state, or our city. But we cannot let it get us inflated. As Congressman McGarvey just said, as Betsy just said, we can and we must do more. So today, let's not just celebrate independence. Let's celebrate our city's determination, our city's resilience, our city's courage, our city's commitment that when things are tough elsewhere, we in Louisville work together, we support one another, and we take action to make sure that we keep moving this city, this state, this country in a right direction, one that supports everyone in our entire city. Thank you all very much. Let's keep working together. Happy Independence Day.
And our next speaker really needs no introduction, but just because I used to call him Congressman Awesome, we have former Congressman John Yarmuth.
That just happened to
Thank
you.
you, Betsy. Happy 4th, everybody.
Did I say something wrong?
Let me start by saying that every time I hear Morgan McGarvey speak, one thing comes to my mind. I'm so glad I retired when I did. Morgan has been and will continue to be one of the most powerful voices in Congress, standing up for the principles that Democrats value. And I watched him at 5-something in the morning yesterday on MSNBC, and he's on message, and he's making a real impact. Let me say this, I can't add too much to what Morgan and Craig have said about the impact of this legislation. What is particularly depressing to me is the dishonesty that Donald Trump and the Republicans have employed to try when they're trying to get it passed. Now, I don't think the American people are buying it. When you're going to cut $780 billion from Medicaid and you try to tell people that nobody's going to lose their health care, it doesn't quite pass the smell test.
That's right.
And the American people know it. Same thing with SNAP. But you know, the president said he wasn't going to touch Medicaid live. He said he wasn't going to touch Medicare. Well, sure enough, the way they're doing this bill is going to result in a $500 billion reduction in Medicare spending. You don't think that's going to hurt our seniors? This bill is incredibly devastating, as you know. What we need to make sure we do is never pass up the opportunity to make sure that our friends, our neighbors, our relatives understand not just how bad it is, but what else is at stake. And we need to make sure that next year, the midterm elections, we do everything we can to win back the House of Representatives and the United States Senate. Because then we can put an end to this nonsense, and we can actually make our government responsive to the needs of the American people. And that doesn't, Morgan's going to win easily. I have no fears about that. But we got a race across the river. 9th Congressional District in Indiana. That can be competitive. The 8th District in Indiana can be competitive. There are districts all around us. The 6th District is going to be in play in central Kentucky. So whatever you can, whether it's giving money, giving time, or again, just getting to the streets, do that, because next year is one of the most critical elections, if not the most critical, in the history of our country. So bless you for coming out today. I love this event. It reaffirms my faith in the principles that were espoused in the Declaration, and look forward to seeing you next year as we get closer to a victory for the American people. Thank you.
Hello? Can you hear me? Move something higher, Rod. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right.
Fuckers
Again,
blocked
I'm
my
Betsy
live
Foster.
stream.
I'm trouble.
The first whole
But
live
I'm
stream.
good trouble. Because I'm going to fight for the people like me, like my family, like my neighbors, like my children in this county and across the country who deserve food. They deserve medical care. And for those people who think that it never will happen to you, one disastrous medical situation can put you where you need Medicaid and Medicare. Our next speaker is the amazing Virginia Woodward, my mentor in all things political and helping me to do this fight. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Virginia Woodward.
Well, let's put your pressure on. Hi, I'm Virginia Woodward. I'm here this morning representing Together We Will. It's an inclusive organization of neighbors across the country, creating a just community that empowers individuals to participate in our democracy. Every one of you should go to your cell phone today and text 100 people and let them know how important it is that we fight. We, the people, must fight tyranny and fascism. And make no mistake, we are in the middle of a war right now. We have a would-be dictator who would take over this country in the blink of an eye. Are we going to let that happen? The passage of the big bad bullshit bill right to the core of who we are as a people and who we are as a nation. I can't remember a time when I was worried about somebody that was going to be able to get health care. Medicaid for children and our seniors is under attack. It may not happen to you, but it most definitely will happen to somebody you know. Kentucky alone will lose coverage for over 200,000 people. We fought so hard to get coverage for everybody in Kentucky. Rural hospitals, which are the lifeblood of rural Kentucky, are under attack and they're going to close. We're going to lose jobs in Kentucky. And all of this is to give the billionaires a tax cut. Do we think that's right? Immigrants across our country are afraid. They're now being arrested not by if they don't have their papers or if they're illegals. It's by who they look like. Who do they associate with? ICE could come anywhere and say, you're out of here. I'm a first-generation immigrant. My mother had me before she became a naturalized citizen. My dad was a veteran, and therefore I was given American status. Where does this stop? Does it stop now? Please text 100 people today and talk to them about fascism. It isn't maybe going to happen. It is happening. Let's stand together and make every day count, because this country is about us, not about the people we elected who aren't voting for us. No matter they got millions of calls from people, emails, phone calls, direct messages through our terrible mail system. They ignored it, and they passed that bill. And it affects every one of us here today and all the people in your cell phone library. Thank you very much.
That's Virginia's takeaway for today. What's yours? Think about it. And what I would ask you to do is when you go home, talk to 5 people about hard conversations that we need to have. Our next speaker is also a very special friend of mine. He is the Democratic Party District 29 chair. His name is Ricky Santiago. Please welcome Ricky to the stage and listen to what his takeaway is.
Thank you, Betsy. Round of applause for Betsy. Come on. I don't know why she does this to me. I have to go after the elected officials that have a lot of, public speaking experience. But when she says, I got to go up, I got to go. But I was kind of nervous. I'm a pretty decent writer, but I was nervous. I think I peaked in my speeches for the year. As I was working on this last night, I had a whole other speech. I wanted to tell you the story about my grandfather and how much of a patriot he was. I think about him sometimes on the 4th of July. He taught me a song. I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy. That because of him, I know the Pledge of Allegiance both in Spanish and English by the time I was 7. About the values he taught me of integrity, and that if you're correct in your knowledge, to take it to your grave until your dying breath. It was supposed to be a rah-rah speech about the power we hold collectively, about how a single stroke of a pen can change the future, and I threw it away. I don't think you want to hear that today. I think you want direction. I think you want tangibles. Honestly, you want a time jump to the 2026 midterms and see how the chips fall to allow yourself to hope again. You are here because you're frustrated. You're scared. I know. Me too. I'm here to tell you that that is okay. I ran for state representative because I'm scared. I'm scared of the world that my little boy is going to have to navigate. And because I'm scared is why I can't sit on the sidelines, hoping and praying something changes, because even in the Bible it says, faith by itself, if it does not have work, is dead. But I lost. And in my district, we lost the general as well. You think I go home and disappeared, right? I can't do that. Not with what's at stake. It's because I'm scared I decided to be more involved in the party. Not because I'm better or more talented or smarter than anyone. Truth is because I can't sit at home hoping anymore, watching the news anymore. The news tells a story that the country that we have been trying to perfect through blood, sweat, and tears for the promise of a better day is fading and everything is on fire. And it is. But what the news doesn't tell you is that you hold the fire extinguisher. See, I believe it doesn't take a special person to get involved. It takes a person. And that makes them special. If you're scared like me, use it to fuel your light. Because only light can drive out darkness. Don't take yourself out of the fight before the bell rings. Be the person, not the special person. The person that's doing something special. Be the person that makes copies. Be the person that goes and canvas. Be the person that translates. Yo hablo español y lo voy a usar para el partido. Be the person who cooks for volunteers, the person who makes phone calls. Don't be afraid to get involved. Get involved because you are afraid. And by doing that, you'll be surprised that you find yourself having courage. I'll finish with this from Justice Brandeis. Those who won our independence believed liberty to be the secret of happiness and courage to be the secret of liberty. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricky. So, if any of you have seen me before, you know that the reason I do activism and started in 2017 when you know who was elected was because I have a son who was born with a very rare heart defect. He is now an adult, and for the first time, I've been fighting for his life, his insurance, his entire life. For the first time, he will be speaking to you himself about what he plans to do. Please welcome my son, Lynn Ward.
I mean, it's not the first time I've done this, but, honestly, I've told my story so many times, it's basically second nature to me, but I've still written it down here just because I've got a point to make and I don't want to miss anything. So, bear with me. Here's a story I've told 1,000 times, but I've written down here anyway, so I don't forget something in this moment of righteous anger of mine. In 1982, I was born with a then incurable congenital heart defect known as an endocardial cushion defect with a hypoplastic left ventricle. It was discovered only by the fluke of a doctor noticing something about my heart rhythm being off. There was no fix for it. The most they could do is essentially rubber band things into place and hope that got me far enough for where science could think of a better solution. And then in 1990, I got the modified Fontan procedure that converted my heart from 4 to 3 chambers. That brought me right here, all of these 42 years later, to the point where my last stress test put me in the shape of a teenager with a similar condition and an outlook towards an old age where I'm well into the future. It's a story I've told so many times that it's basically like the first 10 minutes of the superhero origin of my movie. Since the age of around 5, I started telling my story on behalf of the likes of the American Heart Association to people like Mitch McConnell in Congress and the Senate. Went there, mostly ended up seeing their pages and their, other people and getting glad handed off. If you need someone to put the face on that, it's me. And then Doge cuts just took away $6 or $7 billion just so that they can put more people in cages who don't look like me. So that now we've got this heart valve that's just been taken out of the research phase. And that's research that back in the day wasn't here and could be there for a kid who could be growing up just like I did. So what I'm here for today is I'm here to tell you my story. And I'm here to tell everybody my story. And I'm here to be as loud and kindly aggressive and in your face about it as I possibly can. Because that's my life on the line. It's probably all of your lives on the line. It's someone you know. And it's fucking serious. That's all I got.
Blood is on their hands, says the young lady with the stand up for pediatric cancer research. I am so sorry. I am so sorry, and we are fighting for her and for you and every child, every adult, every person in this country that needs medical care. They are not, how did they put it? They'll get over it. We are not getting over it. We are going to fight and take back our country. Our next speaker is my dear friend, Jennifer Hardin, who is also the chair of the Democratic Party for District 33. She's got a powerful voice and some powerful socks. I'm going to introduce you to her right now.
Thank you. Tonight, as fireworks light up the skies and families gather in parks and in neighborhoods and in backyards across our Commonwealth, we remember not only the independence we gained in 1776, but also the responsibility we will be inheriting in 2026. Because freedom is not a legacy, it's a living promise, and a promise that is being tested today. With the passage of the big disastrous bill, Kentucky faces real problems. Not someday, but today. Medicaid cuts in this legislation will mean fewer resources for local rural hospitals, longer waits for care, and real dangers for families who rely on the coverage to survive. In a group, individuals hold back, waiting for someone else to act. The people around them feel less like they need to act because they think someone else is going to do that, and we can take less personal responsibility. It's not heartlessness, It's human nature, and it's called the bystander effect. But silence in the face of injustice isn't neutral, it's permission. And we don't have the luxury to sit back. So let's rewrite the script. Let's be the neighbors who speak up, the citizens who ask hard questions, the community members who connect the dots and explain what's really at stake here. We don't need everyone to be an expert. We just need everyone to care enough to inform, to engage, and to mobilize. That's how we fight back. That's how we reclaim the meaning of liberty in 2026. So tonight, while we celebrate freedom, let's commit to defending it together, out loud, and with a purpose.
Woo! Thank you, Jennifer. So, anybody out there have an idea of what you're going to take away from this today to do? It can be as simple as a conversation, talking about hard things to one person. It could be volunteering for the Democratic Party as we are ramping up elections to flip the House in 26. It could be as simple as talking to your family who live in rural counties who are going to be the most impacted by the cuts that are going to happen, making sure that they understand the reality of this bill. It's not a short journey. I'll give you today to take off, but after today, I need everybody to work. Again, my name is Betsy Foster. I am with Together We Will, Louisville and Southern Indiana. I would love to work with all of you. Please send us a message and I will. And I am going to have the amazing Roz Welsh get us out with a powerful yell. But thank you so much for coming.
Thank you all for coming today. I am reminded of these words that I was taught 5 blocks up the road at Louisville Central High School, 1130 West Chestnut Street. My law and government teacher, Ms. McGarvey, had us memorize the preamble to the Constitution of the United States. 23 years later, I remember some, but I'm going to keep the other ones close. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty. To ourselves and our prosperity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. If your elected officials are not establishing justice, ensuring domestic tranquility, providing for the common defense, promoting the general welfare, and securing the blessings of liberty, not just for themselves, but for future generations, they need to go. Now is not the time to just look forward, but it is also to look forward to our next generations and to be reminded of our past from whence we have come. This morning, someone asked one of our speakers what it feels like to see the Declaration of Independence in front of a statue of someone who would have enslaved her. And I say, in response for her is, I'm damn proud to be in this America. Because the America of 1776 would not have allowed me to be here. But people fought and died for this right. People came over and gave their lives for our liberty. And I refuse to waste their blood. So I say to you, it is time that we stand up. It will not be an easy fight. It will not be quick. It will be long-suffering. And it will require all of us to be present. Today is not the time to sit on the sidelines, but today is a reminder that America is beautiful. And it's beautiful because of you and me and them and they and he and she. It is beautiful because this is where freedom rings. And so as we stand here on this Independence Day, I am excited to say not only am I an American, but I'm a black American that came through this city, forged on the backs of tobacco pickers, on the backside of Churchill Downs, from electricians who served at naval ordinances, and for people who died in our military. I get to stand here and say, I won't back down. Baby, you got me yesterday, but you won't get me tomorrow. Because I refuse to let the few speak for the many. And so, as we see cuts come down, as we see tyranny show up, it is our time not to sit back and complain and moan. It is our time to step forward. It is our time to be on the front line. It is our time to say, hell no, we won't go. It is our time to elect people who speak for the people, who establish justice, who promote the general welfare, and who secure the blessings of liberty, not just for today, but for the next 250 years. So to you, I say thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining in the fight. It does not end today. We celebrate our independence today. But not only that, we celebrate the fact that together we will rise like ashes, like a phoenix, coming back stronger than ever. And while today we may only have one congressman who's a Democrat from the state of Kentucky, but in 2026, we can have 6. Till then, thank you so much. Happy Independence Day!
I want to hear everybody say, I am an American and I am taking America back. I want y'all to be proud of that and say it loud to people, because I hear a lot of that. I'm not proud to be an American anymore. That is a very small portion of our country, and we're going to be louder than they are. Let's do it. I'm an American. Let's take America back. Go out and fight. Thank you guys for coming.
Okay, you guys, thank you for joining. And I am headed back to MC the pet contest at the Crescent Hill 4th of July.